Hello everyone, Obi-Wan Dam here and welcome back to Anno 1800. In the last episode we finally reached 250 artisans back there and unlocked the Docklands main wharf building. Today we are going to take a closer look, sounds weird but it's okay, at the new features that were added with the Docklands, and also I would like to take a look at the decoration, because the decoration for the Docklands is, as you can see here, amazing. It's a lot of items that we can use, and I would definitely like to, well, yeah, make the harbor area a lot more beautiful. So, how does the Docklands work? So first of all, after you reach 250 artisans, you can build one single Docklands main wharf, which you can find under artisans medium harbor buildings, and they are limited to one single building per island. And also the building requires windows to be built, so that means you actually have to set up window production with your first artisans you unlock, which is usually always the first step you do because all the other buildings require them as well. So nothing special here. After that, you can see that you can, if you click on the main building, you have this modules tab over here, which will allow you to build 6 different modules. That's kind of works like the palace placement, with the one difference that those buildings do not have to be right next to the main building, but you have a pretty large area, which is more or less the complete coast, where you can build them even far out in the water. Only thing you can see here, you cannot build in front of the sailing what is it called? Damn it. Shipyard, exactly. And in front of the trading posts. And I think you can also build in front of the fishing docks. That's why we did not put them in here. Okay, so modules. We have 4 modules that we already know from the main game, which are the depot and the harbor master that are usually in the small harbor district. So we have the depot and the harbor master, but the buildings in the Docklands are just more space efficient. So you can see this is the depot, the regular one, and this over here is the depot for the Docklands, which is way smaller than before. Then we have 2 modules from the medium harbor district, which is the pier and the repair crane that you usually find all over here, repair crane and pier. And then we have 2 additional buildings that are new to the Docklands, which are the exports office that will add an additional export and import contract, and we have the loading wharf, which will increase the loading speed of your harbor, which is kind of nice actually. That's all about modules, more or less. The modules are limited, as you can see here, but you can raise this limit by fulfilling certain milestones in the export and import menu. So let's take a look at that menu over here. At first glance it looks pretty big and there's a lot of stuff to do, but yeah, there's already a tutorial by Captain Tobias. Speaking of Captain Tobias, this guy has a huge ship that will come to your harbor, I think every 20 minutes or so. And then he will try to fulfill all the active contracts you have in your export and import screen. So, can you be quiet? I'm trying to explain. So, what do we have here? In the center, we have the active contracts menu. If you start out with the Docklands, you only have 1 slot. We have 2 because we already built one of the export offices. So, what do you do right here? You are going to add items that you want to export, like we did right here. We have work clothes and we have schnapps that we would try to export. And on the right side, you select a good that you would like to import from the right menu. And we are currently importing sausages and soap, just for example. As you can see here, some of those, or every single exchange contract has a different exchange ratio. And this is determined by the value, so to speak, of the goods. The more valuable a good is, the better its exchange ratio is. So for example, as you can see here, the exchange ratio for schnapps and sausages is 1-to-1 because the game values both goods as equally valuable, whilst over here the exchange ratio between work clothes and soap is 2.2-to-1. So the game values soap twice as much as work clothes. And this value is determined by the level of workers that are required. So for example, for soap you already need workers, while for work clothes you only need farmers. And also by the amount of space that is required to produce a certain good, or the complexity of the production chain, and so on. So this determines the export ratio. And that's basically it in terms of active contracts. You just trade one good for another one, and that's what Captain Tobias will do. As long as you have goods to offer and space for the receiving good, he will try to perform this trade. You can also see on the right side that there are some goods that are...
Bold new expedition, Admiral.
Yes, thank you. That are currently locked, which you cannot use. And you can see here that you need to export a certain volume of an item to unlock this good. So for red peppers, you can see we need to export 180 work clothes to be able to import red peppers. And we already exported 999, which is pretty good. For beef, it's the same. Over here, we need to have 5 active exports. This is a lot. And for malt, we need to export hops. So this is basically a tree or a tier list. So you have to work your way up to the most expensive goods to be able to import them. And I guess this will, there will be more goods available the further we go in the tier levels of our population. So if you unlock the engineers and investors, there might be more goods available over on the right side. On the left side, we can see all the goods we have for export available at the moment, which is everything. So everything we produce can be exported. We can't just import certain things until we met certain requirements. And then we have this specialty pyramid with in total 10 slots divided into 4 tiers of specialties that we can choose from. And what this means is that we can use one of those items and slot it into a specialty slot once we unlock them. And that means that the value of a good that we are specialized in will be increased. So you can see here the exchange ratio is 1.2. So what this means is that the game will value the good that you slotted into the specialty slot with a factor of 1.2. So you need to trade less of the good for your imports. And you have 4 specialty slots tier 1, 3 for tier 2 with an exchange ratio of 1.4, 1.6 for tier 2, which is where you have 2 slots available, and 1 specialty slot tier 1 which will
be held accountable.
Oh, sorry, Eli, I forgot the contract again. I'm sorry. Which will basically double your exchange ratio. And to unlock those tiers, you can see you need to export a certain volume, which is for tier 1, we need to export 1,000 items. And you can see we already exported 149, even though the game, I think, only sees 99, so I don't know what's wrong here, but that's more or less how it works. You export a certain amount of goods and then you will unlock the specialty slots, as well as increase the number of buildings or modules you can build. That's basically it. So the plan that I'm trying to do at the moment is to make sure we are producing canned food, because canned food has two major advantages over the current things we are selling, which is, first of all, it has a pretty, well, this is not an advantage, it has a pretty weird ratio. So you can see all of those buildings have a production time of 2 minutes, whilst the cannery has 1 minute and 30. So to achieve perfect production ratio, you need 4 of the cattle farm, red pepper farm, and artisanal kitchen, and 3 canneries. Which will produce a lot of canned food, and that's basically what we are trying to do, and set up this perfect ratio production chain, produce lots of canned food, and then use this to export. Since canned food should be more valuable than soap and sausages, we should get a pretty neat price for that, and this means we can basically completely get rid of the soap production and the sausage production, including the pig pans. Which will in return get rid of, at the moment, the complete vulgarity we have on our island, which is nice. We could also try to import, I don't know, maybe even steel to get rid of the steelworks, I don't know. The advantage is also that if we produce lots of canned food, which requires artisans, to replace the production of soap and sausages, which requires workers, we can upgrade more worker buildings into artisans, because, well, we need more artisans and less workers. So also the population ratio, which in return will give us more money, will increase. So that's basically the whole plan. We will produce, or we will specialize into higher value goods and try to get rid of the ugly production chains on the lower tiers. But before we do that, we finished the basics of the harbor or the Docklands district. Now let's take a look at the decoration. We currently did not decorate much. I would definitely like to do this. The city is already looking pretty good. But nothing too fancy at the moment. So let's take a look at some of the decorations we have. There are those crimson lighthouses, and I think they are pretty big. They can also be placed in the water. So I guess having a lighthouse, maybe even 2 of those, will look pretty good. Or let's place one right in between the 2 entrance points to our city. Yeah, every city should have a lighthouse. We also have the pale lighthouse, but I like the crimson one more. We have some harbor cranes, which look exactly like the repair cranes. So this is just a little detail. I'm not sure if we need those at the moment. We have an industrial crane. Oh, they look nice. But they also need to be placed inside the harbor area, right? Yeah, they need to. Can we place them right here? Oh, we can. Yeah, this looks great. A warehouse right next to the harbor crane. So yeah, we can really make this thing look pretty nice. All of those or at least it looks like that, all of those decorations have to be placed in the harbor area. Even the copper roofed kiosk, it's nice. But this can be at the entrance of the harbor area, right? Also, this looks to be, wait a second, is this a street that I built right here? I think it is. Yeah, that looks way better. And now we can connect this. Oh, we can even go out one more. Okay, in this way it does not connect, so we have to add the road. Oh no, it does not connect anyways. Okay, then it looks stupid. Well, in this case, Yeah, it looks like we need this connection. It looks a bit weird. I don't know why this happens, but it's okay. Also, this bridge is now looking kind of strange, so let's get rid of that as well. What else do we have here? Something that fits in here. Maybe even some... Oh, this is a square. Oh, this is huge. We need to move the kiosk over by 1, and then we should be able to add the material shack. Can add that to here. Oh, this is just some ships that are standing here. They look nice. Where do we put them? Maybe right next to the repair crane. Yeah, so I think the plan really is to add pier that goes a long distance. It isn't... Wow, it even has...
Competitors have reached a trade agreement.
Yes, very nice. We even have trees in here. This looks amazing. Wait a second, if we can add a bridge to this area, that will look great. So we will add this to here with the tree. And then, I don't know, another tree. Something different. And over here, let's add first a tree. Light post. Just a regular pier. Right there. And then I would like to have one of those bridges. Yeah. Wow. So, and we can... Let's take a look at the radius again. We can completely cover the coast with this decoration and all of those buildings of the Docklands. Which are at the moment 11, 17, plus 5 is more than 20, about 30. Let's just go quickly over that. I think in total it's more than 40 modules that we can add to this area, so this will be huge. Yeah, we can rearrange this as we see fit. I already like how this looks like. Let's hide the UI. Nice. This is really, really gorgeous. And everything is moving also.